Yo,
Hi.
we are doing part 2 of our annual review. We did the first chunk yesterday, so go back and watch that. And one thing for a quick recap that we like to do every year is to go over some things that we either achieved, or this year we're calling it a gratitude list, things we're grateful for. So there's something I recommend all of you do. Let's get straight into it. We were up to number 21. You go, young lady. Or future old lady.
You, Andy, are grateful for all of the kind comments people leave on your YouTube channel, the nice emails I get, people sharing the success stories.
Oh my God, yeah. Such an insane amount of and not just kind, the kindness is amazing. That's really nice. That's really genuinely nice. How loving people are is pretty cool. But the amount of people that show the courage and hey, I was terrified to leave the house and I finally did it. Hey, I've been depressed and today I made my bed. Yeah, the small victories are the things that impress me the most, honestly. So, and then obviously you get emails from people that have done really cool stuff. Hey, I got into a relationship and we've been together for 2 years and I waited for 2 years in the relationships before I told you because I wanted it to be a big, meaningful thing that I told you. Some of those are really good.
Yeah. No, it's amazing to hear those stories.
You are grateful that you've been taking your appearance more seriously and treating your body with more kindness.
Yeah. That's been nice to give myself permission to do some of those things. And I guess what I refer to there, I think that encompasses a few things. I think a lot of the time, maybe the food decisions that I've made or the decisions when it comes to looking after my body have come from a place of fear of I'm scared of being unattractive or that you or other people will reject me, or
I'm scared I won't look good in a video. Yeah.
But now I think, and I'm not always perfect with it, but I'm moving more in the direction of trying to do things from a place of love and looking after my body and saying that I want to not eat that cake, not because I'm not allowed to have it, but I think my body will feel better tomorrow if I make that decision. And it also falls under little things like self-care and grooming. For example, I've started getting pedicures and things like that purely because it makes me feel good and it feels like I'm looking after myself. And I think that's a really positive thing for me.
Yeah, and for a lot of women listening will understand. They were yeah, you go, girl, you look after yourself. A lot of guys listening, it applies to us too. It's the basic grooming stuff. Every time before you, when you wake up in the morning before you go out, the basic stuff, trim underneath your neck hairs, trim that, sculpt your beard a little bit more, make sure it's all a decent length, get a decent haircut, or if you're balding like me, just shave it all off so you look good. Whatever it is that you need to do to look your best.
Get a massage.
Well, that's a big one. Did we put that on this list? I think we did.
Did we?
If we didn't,
massages.
This has got to be on the list. Yeah, we've started having more massages, and we had one so far. We've started that process of having more massages. We're gonna have one a month. Put it in the calendar. Yeah, massages are a game changer. Massages are the definition of going to heaven on earth. And I had a spiritual experience last time. It was this enlightened, deep freaking epiphany where I was holy crap, masseuses,
massage therapists,
massages.
I think they like being called massage therapists.
Massage massage technicians. They are basically shamans who take you to the spiritual world. They take you they're like an LSD trip. They're a facilitator.
Tell them next time.
I did. I was that was amazing. You're so good at that. But yeah, next time I'll say, you're a shaman. You're taking me to the other realm where I just go inside heaven. You're I'm ascending the stairs way to heaven.
I mean, that's a whole subgenre of the wellness community is the more spiritual, tantric massage and.
Oh yeah. We should get a tantric massage.
Healing. And
we should get a tantric massage.
That might also mean sex massage. I'm not entirely sure, but.
It does. They touch your dick and stuff. They can touch your pussy and touch my dick. I am grateful that we could be... Oh, this is a good one. I'm grateful that we could be loving during the vaccine passports era. So we had vaccines. So I talked on the previous episode about how I did a lot of work letting go a lot of my hatred towards the government. We definitely did. I think even at the time, we did a pretty good job of being as loving and peaceful as we could while people were literally saying, get out of my fucking store because you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, and certainly weren't perfect. I definitely wasn't. I yelled at one person. I also cried, but I also yelled
I left one negative review on Google for a restaurant, and then I took it down.
Yeah, so we did our best, and I think we ended up doing a pretty good job considering how much bottled up emotion
Yeah.
we had around.
How many stories we had.
Yep.
Around these people are the enemy. Why are they doing this? Like all of that.
Fuck you all. Yeah.
Yeah, and we definitely were pretty loving and peaceful. For the vast majority of the time when someone was like, you can't come in here, get out of my store, where's your vaccine passport, like all of that. For the vast majority of it, I was just like, okay. And we just left. Now, inside I wasn't feeling great, but
No.
I was like, okay. Like, I think we did the most loving job we could. And we've done a lot of letting go of that and working through it. And at this point, I'm just like, yeah, it was a lot of people believing their stories. They were doing the best they could. They were just following orders and all that kind of stuff that humans do. And why would I be mad about that? That's just what they were doing. And we've said many times, like, if that stuff was to happen now, it would be funny because I would just be like, this is funny. Look how many businesses don't want my money. And I'd be like, but here's my money. Are you sure you don't want this? Like, I want to give it to you. Like, it would be comical now at this point. And I'd be like, okay, I'll find the one who wants to take my money because I got lots of money. You can have it, but if you don't want it, that's okay. Like,
and I'm pretty sure that even at the time, you recorded a YouTube video about it that
where I
mentioned that
said,
you were going to
if society's going to
check
kick
out.
me out, I'm just going to check out of society. And that was a pretty peaceful video, yeah. I said, okay, rather than fighting this, if society doesn't want me right now, which is how I felt at the time, it wasn't that society didn't want us. They just, but I was like, okay, if that's how it is, then I'll just check out. We'll just check out. And we did. We just went to parks and we didn't go to any museums or galleries or restaurants or cafes. Like, all cafes were off limits. Basically anything indoors was off limits. No theaters, shopping centers were even, like, we didn't really even go inside shopping centers because lots of people wore masks. And I was just like, let's just go sit in parks and stuff. And it was kind of nice. It was really nice. It was actually really nice. Oh, the next one. Oh, my goodness gracious me. I'm grateful for mirror therapy.
Golly gosh.
Golly gosh. Grateful for mirror therapy. I've done it every day for a year. You've been doing it quite a bit too.
I'm trying to do it at least 10 times a week.
Yep. Lots of my coaching clients, I get to do it. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, oh my God, absolute game changer. My spiritual coach gave me this probably a year ago. Yeah, it'd be over a year ago. And when he first told it to me, I was like, that's gay. Like, literally, that's homosexual. I'd have to suck a dick to do that. That was my beautiful ego talking, right? That's gay. That's effeminate. I'm not doing that. That's dumb. And what my coach told me is look into your own eyes in the mirror and say, I love you to yourself. And I was like, that's gay. I don't want to suck a dick though, Keith. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't like dicks, Keith. Like, I didn't say that to him, but that's what in my, so I was like, oh yeah, haha, yeah, sure, yep. And he's just, but something about the way he said it, I was like, okay, I think this guy's very serious about this and I respect him. And so out of my respect and trust for him, I will try it. And it was really hard. It was really hard to like look.
Almost had a breakdown the first time, right?
Yeah, even like looking into your own eyes in the mirror, it's like, that's hard, let alone trying to utter the words, I love you. And when I finally did it, I was like, holy shit, why was that so hard? Why don't I love myself? Why am I asking Imogen to love me, but I'm saying I don't love it's saying it's difficult for me to love myself? Like, shouldn't I be able to love myself? I have all this ego and this pride, and I walk around saying like, oh, I love myself, bro. Like, I'm fucking tough. I'm all this stuff. But I can't like actually say the words when it comes time to saying it meaningfully. And yeah, that was an eye-opener. And from that day, I was like, okay, I have to do this every single day. Like, I have to get good at this. And now it's become this really nice, like, check-in. Because what you find is when you say, I love you to yourself in the mirror, when you're looking into your own eyes, and don't just rush it, like, take your time with it. When you do it, it's like, if you weren't fully happy with all the decisions you made in that day, it comes up. Like, you say, I love you, and then you're like, oh, champ, hey, then why did you do this today? Why'd you look at porn today? If you love yourself, why'd you look at porn? That wasn't very loving, was it? What was that all about? And you kind of go inside. You don't feel guilty about it, but you go, oh, fuck, yeah. No, that wasn't in line with my own integrity. Why did I do that? It's a really nice challenge to yourself each day to sort of say, did you live a life that was true to yourself and your values and what you want and who you want to be? And
I think it can be a really nice opportunity to reconnect with yourself.
Yep. To slow down.
I think sometimes you can get so caught up in like the things that I have to do and just like day-to-day things, like the mundane things that we do in life to kind of keep the ball rolling. But coming back to just being present, looking at yourself, being aware that like you're a person and being aware of that.
Yeah, it's like you forget, don't you? You forget there's someone else looking back at you when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, because I guess we don't ever really see ourselves. We just see other people. So it almost feels like we're like we're not a being. We're kind of just all of the thoughts in our head kind of going about. And it's like, oh, hi, person.
Yeah, it's a check-in with yourself. You're saying hi. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I did a video about it. I did 2 videos about it, actually. So you can just search my channel for mirror therapy and you'll see the 2 videos that I did. Mm-hmm. And lots of people in the comments replied and they were like, holy crap, this was really hard. Why was it so hard? This was life-changing when I finally actually did it. Oh my God. And that was like a year or so ago. Since then, I've gotten lots more people to do it. Even the girl that we're seeing right now, the girl that we're dating, I suggested it to her and she was like, wow, that was really hard. And then when I finally did it, it was amazing. But why was it so hard? And I was like, because you just have been walking around thinking that you're all the thoughts in your head, but you don't realize you're an actual human being, as you said. Which sounds very weird. Everyone listening, we challenge you to go and try it right now. Look in the mirror, say, I love you, while looking into your own eyes. And if it's really difficult, that's okay. That's okay. Go watch the original 2 videos where I talk about some tips on how you can do it if it's a struggle. But yeah. You want to do this one?
You are grateful for, and I guess I am as well, the gratitude exercises that you do every single night, every day for a year. I haven't done them that religiously, but I still do it very regularly. At the end of each night, and I know this is something you've talked about before, you will just list the things that you're grateful for, either generally or in the day that you just had. And it's a really nice time to, I guess, just feel good, be grateful, obviously. And it was interesting, actually, as we were going through this list, we kind of discussed that because we now engage in gratitude practices so regularly, when doing this list, it was lovely to reflect on things and on the year, but it didn't necessarily feel like some grandiose, profound thing. It was like, of course, like we already know this stuff. Of course we're grateful for this stuff, and it's amazing, and it's nice to still bring up all of those nice feelings of gratitude, but it also felt familiar in a really good way.
Yeah, because we're already doing it every day. Yeah. So that's a game changer. I really do. And gratitude, by the way, is a big cheat code for anything. So if you're a guy and you are currently working on having more sex and a woman rejects you, rejection, you're not actually getting rejected. She just doesn't want to have sex. But, if she rejects you, write a list of 10 reasons why you're grateful she just rejected you. And that might be very difficult the first time because you're like, what do you mean this hurts? And it's like, no, hey, come up with 10 reasons why you're grateful. I'm grateful that she was able to say what she wants, and I live in a world in which women won't lie to me and then I will have sex with them and then find out they didn't want to have sex with me because that would suck. I'm really grateful that she was honest. I'm really grateful that she's teaching me courage because sometimes I struggle to say no to the things I don't want to do. And look at her. Wow, what a confident, sassy little bitch. Like, she's able to say no. She's able to say no. That's amazing. I like that I even have the opportunity to hit on a woman or talk to a woman in the first place. Isn't that beautiful? I like that. I'm grateful that she was polite about it, if she was polite about it, which most of them will be. I'm grateful that now I have a little bit more free time because, hey, if she'd said yes, I would be texting her and that would take time. I got free time now. Cool. Sweet. I'm grateful that she was able to tell me no, and then that frees me up to go and find the woman who will give me a very enthusiastic yes. Because what if this woman had just gone like, oh, maybe, and like, that's a waste of my time. I want an enthusiastic yes. You can come up with 10 reasons why. That is such a cheat code for moving past some of those negative feelings. And, we talked about this in the last video, this map of consciousness, or you can call it like the emotional hierarchy, whatever you want to call it. When you're down here in like fear or guilt or shame, any of the low, or anger, like frustration that a woman rejected you, the quickest way to launch yourself up to like peace or love or joy or even just reason, like logic, is gratitude. Gratitude just like shoots you right up to the top. It really does.
Yeah.
And so use gratitude as a cheat code for sure. I'm grateful to you for growing all the plants in my apartment. You talk about the plants while I go and get one.
You got to get the best one.
Okay, I'll get the best one.
But I look after all of the plants in Andy's apartment. Not really for Andy, but more because it brings me a lot of joy. And I get really happy seeing them all grow. And sometimes I'll go on little plant rants and I'll show Andy little cuttings of the plants that I made and growing them into new plants. And I'm like, isn't this so amazing? Isn't this so amazing that plants are able to grow, and that even like sometimes they look a bit sad and miserable. Plants. If you give them enough love, they'll grow. Okay, so this one's looking a bit sad because I put him outside, and maybe it shouldn't because there were new leaves. But I agree, this is an avocado tree. And I grew this from a little avocado seed. I ate an avocado and then I put it in water and it grew roots. And now it's turning into a tree. And that makes me so happy that we got some more plant ASMR.
Yeah, this is plant ASMR.
But it brings me a lot of joy. And Andy said that he's grateful that I look after his plants. But it's not for Andy, it's for me. Yeah. And recently when we went on holidays, we actually put all of the plants in one spot inside in the sunlight, so they hopefully didn't die, which none of them did. And we got to see that there's actually quite a lot of plants when you put them all in one pile.
Yeah, we have like 15 or 20 plants here. And most of them come from you, so I'm really grateful to that. But I guess you'd say you're grateful for plants.
Yeah, plants make me so happy. Because nature is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do just have I'm just in an apartment. It's really nice having a lot of plants in an apartment. Makes it feel more like a home, for sure. You can say that one since that's you.
I'm grateful for my mother and grandmother growing closer to me and visiting me. And I guess what ties into that one as well is that also that because all of my family is interstate and it definitely feels like Queensland, the state that we're currently in, is my home now. And I'm grateful for that there's been that readjustment and I've gotten settled and that I feel so comfortable here now and that I love where we live and that my family is really accepting of that and will visit me and still make the effort to see me and that I've been still a part of the family. Whereas maybe at the start it didn't quite feel like that, but I'm really grateful for how much they've made the effort to connect with me.
They have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're both very likable. Your grandmother and your mother are both very blunt and honest, which I like about them a lot. My
grandmother's very blunt.
Your mother's very honest. Your grandmother's blunt, which I love about her. She makes it. They both make it very easy to like them. They really do. Yeah. Your mother should I say? Whatever, we'll say it's adorable. Whenever I'm very honest, autistically honest with your mother, she she doesn't know how to take a compliment. I'll say it like that. And I'll give her because I'm very genuine and loving with my compliments. I think she doesn't know how to handle them. I'll just straight up look into her eyes and I'll be like, you're a really lovely human being. And she'll just go, okay, thanks. She doesn't know what to do. I'm sure she hears it. I know she hears it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell she likes me. She's very nice to me. I am grateful. Yeah, so just what I said. I'm grateful for your mother being so loving with me and with her. I've said that to her. She gets funny when I say that too. When I'm like, you are such a good mother to Imogen. I'm so grateful to you for being so lovely with her.
To be fair, I think a lot of people would get a bit weird about that. I don't think that's exclusively a my mum thing.
No, I don't think so either.
I think a lot of people...
Most people are not used to
a bit taken aback. Yeah, by that level of forwardness.
I'd rather they know it than me keep it inside and they never know it. I'm not saying it for them, I say it for me. I personally, Andy, am grateful for the insights my mother has given me this year. Lots of relationship advice. So we're going to do, I say we're going to do, there are so many podcasts. I have 170 podcasts, literally 170. I actually think it might be 170.
Really?
Maybe it's less than that now that I've said that. 257. Okay, I was wrong. So I have 257.
Ideas.
I have 257.
So yeah, if you ever give Andy a podcast idea...
Yeah, I can't promise you that I'll do it.
Yeah.
People tell me all the time. And do you know how many ideas I have for books that I want? Courses, articles,
it's an endless stream at this point.
Yeah, there's just a lot. But the point that I was going to get to, where we're here. So we're going to do a podcast. I've already written all the notes. There's going to be about it's going to be an 8 podcast series on relationship advice that my mother taught me. And she's given me some bangers, some absolutely amazing pieces of advice that have just been there when I needed them. Probably the biggest one is you won't always like each other, or you might not always like each other. That's okay. Which is essentially giving yourself permission to suck in a relationship and giving the other person permission to suck. Saying you won't always be great at a relationship. You might dislike each other sometimes. You might have an argument and think, wow, this person's a prick. That happens far less now. Basically, I think we're at a point where I don't think it'll happen. It might... I don't know. I can't see it happening much anymore because I think we have a lot of tools at our disposal. But yeah, I'm so grateful to my mother. She's so very open and loving and honest. And I guess in general, I'm just very grateful to my mother as a person. She'll send, if I pull my phone up right now, I'm not going to show it on the screen, but I can read some of it out. If I was to just like flick, like here, let's look to just like random, let's see, let's just find like where she says something nice about me.
Your mum calls you honey bun.
Yeah, she calls me that all the time.
I call you honey bun.
Let's just find something where she says something nice. Okay, that's nice. Okay, there's like a ton of pictures here. I feel like I'm scrolling a lot just to get through all the bullshit pictures that we sent each other. Now I feel like a liar. My mother hasn't said anything nice to me for like, okay, love you long time. That came from a movie. That's a prostitute. I don't think she knows that.
I thought she said she knew.
Oh, maybe I told her that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, she'll just like randomly send, there, like that. Look at that text. Good morning, sweetheart. I just want to say how proud of you we are. I have learnt so much from you and we couldn't ask for a better son. We are blessed. We love you now and always. Like, I'll just randomly get those fucking texts like once a month, maybe like once every 2 weeks, and then she'll call like every week.
I wonder if that's part of where, because I know since having met you, that's something that you do. You'll randomly send
gratitude texts
messages to people like that. I wonder if maybe you've picked that up from your mum, because it wasn't necessarily something that I was. I even thought to do before meeting you.
Yeah, I think she definitely like, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm super grateful to my mother for being so loving. My dad is too, but he's like autistic. And your dad is too.
Yeah, he won't send stuff like that.
Yeah, my dad won't send stuff like
I'll
that.
like send this like lovely, like heartfelt message.
My dad will
like,
just say, okay.
Yeah, my dad will be like, thanks, bub.
Yeah, my dad will just literally say, okay. Like he would literally say, okay, if I say I love you.
But that makes me smile. There used to be some sadness there, some like yearning for...
Because you needed something from
a
him.
different sort of connection, but now it's like, it makes me smile.
Me too, it's adorable.
That's my dad, yeah.
It's like my dad is older than me and he still hasn't figured out how to say I love you. Like that's cute. I just want to give him a little cuddle and be like, you're so cute. Like, but yeah, for the longest time, that was my biggest point of pain in my entire life. Why can't I have my father's love? Why, like, curse you heavens, can I not have love? Like, it's not fair.
You do
like,
have it though.
Yeah, exactly. We just didn't have it the way we fucking wanted it. Which is like, what I'm saying there is like, we were trying to control. We're like, our fathers should tell us they love us exactly the way that we want them to. We should be able to change reality just because we want it to. We should be able to control other people and the way they tell us they love us. We should be able to force them to love us. Like, yeah. That hurts when you believe stuff like that.
Yeah. We are both grateful for the connections we've made with women over the last year. And when we say that, like women that we've dated or seen or like gone on dates with or slept with, and most of them had ended up being rather short, like once or twice off type situations. But we're still really grateful. And I think maybe at that time or earlier in the year, there was maybe some frustration because we really wanted to
date someone longer term. Yeah. When we say longer term, we just mean more than like a goddamn fling.
Yeah.
More than like seeing them 3 times, yeah.
On an ongoing basis. And that being said though, it's still been nice to connect with new people.
Oh, I'm so grateful for every single one of them. Yeah. I hope that doesn't come across, I know you know this, but I hope it doesn't come across as us saying like, oh, it's not fair, like no women stuck around. No, most of that was us. We were being really fussy. We really were. Like, we were being super fussy. Plus, we were more focused on sex at the start of the year. It was basically all we cared about.
And a lot has changed. And I think especially now, the girl that we are dating, she is very lovely. And I'm really grateful that we've connected. Yeah. I know this is the next point, or the next couple, but we've talked.
We call her Little Miss here because she wanted to be anonymous. She came on our podcast.
But it was really lovely connecting with her and... super grateful for that this year.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't watched that podcast, you can just search for, just search for the word threesome. I think we called it like a threesome podcast or something like that. Yeah. So the next one is great. We're grateful to her for being so loving with us and open and vulnerable. She's a force for good. She definitely, like, I would like to do another podcast with her, and she said she's happy to. Talking about some of her self-improvement projects. Like, she seems like she's on a freaking mission to just absolutely be the best person she can be. And what I meant when I wrote this down, that like she's so loving, what I meant is like on this list, she's like definitely, she has so many times where she's up the top. I don't know how she got up the top, and that's why I'd want her to come on and talk more about her self-improvement journey. She's read some books, and it looks like she's put in a lot of work on liking herself and being more connected to family and like working through some of her. I think she was way down the bottom. She talked about that a little bit to us.
Yeah, and it has had her own share of mental health.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Sadness, depression for a while. So yeah, I'd love to have. I'm pretty sure she'll come on. She said she would. I'd love to get her on because she definitely hangs around the top a lot. Like
She seems
I
to
feel
have
like
a lot of love to give. Yeah.
and a fair bit of peace as well. I don't think she has her entire life sorted out. She's only 21. I don't have my life sorted out, and I'm freaking 35. But she definitely is like sitting at love most of the time and joy. Definitely a lot of joy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do the next one.
You, and I guess I am as well, grateful for all of the books that we've read that have given us insights over the last year. Especially you have done a lot of reading of a lot of Byron Katie and other kind of self-help literature, but that's been really positive. And I think you have gotten a hell of a lot out of what you've been reading. And I think because you've built it into the routine that you have each day now, I get the impression that it's something to look forward to and to help kind of be present at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah, I read a bit every single night. Amongst some other things, like looking in the mirror and saying I love you, coming up with a gratitude list every day. So some of the books, you can go onto this website. I guess I can put a link to it in the description if I remember. If I forget, then whatever. But you can still look for the book titles. So some ones that are amazing are Loving What Is by Byron Katie. I read that this year. That is like just life-changing. And then one of her other books, I Need Your Love, Is That True? That is like the relationship book. Even if you're not in a relationship, if you just want to be in one, that's amazing.
People that are dating.
Yeah. Letting Go, that was life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. That's where this comes from, this map of consciousness, this emotional hierarchy, that comes from that. And then two of the other books are pretty good as well. What else did we read that was great? There are a bunch of other books, but honestly, though, I think just those two. There was like a lot of other books I read. I read a lot of other Byron Katie books. I read everything she wrote, and I really do recommend everything she wrote. But I would just start with Loving What Is, and I Need Your Love, Is That True? And then Letting Go, which is by a different author, David Hawkins. This book here, the yellow book, Letting Go. I would start with those three books. Those three are like absolutely life-changing, honestly. If you just read those three and nothing else in your entire life, and don't just race through them, take your time with them. Each one of those books I spent probably 3 months reading. Like, I really take my time with books because you need to internalize it, or you want to internalize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So further on that, I'm grateful for Byron Katie, the author of two of those books, Loving What Is and I Need Your Love, Is That True? And a bunch of other books, for teaching me the concept of the work, and we're just believing stories. So the work, we talked about that in the previous video, is where you're having a limiting belief. You know, she calls it a story. Like every thought is a story. It's just a story you're telling yourself, and you're just believing it. You're playing make-believe with bullshit stories. Like, my boss is mean to me. That's just a story. Your boss isn't mean to you. Or the question is like, is my boss actually mean to me? Sometimes when you even ask that question, which is that's what the work is, you're just kind of investigating some of these stories. You'll say, is it true that my boss is mean to me? You'll be like, all right, fine, he's not mean to me, he's just blunt, and I take that as mean. Okay, I guess my boss isn't mean, I'm just calling it that. Like sometimes that is enough. You just ask yourself, is my story even true? Or another thing you can ask yourself is something Alex Hormozzi, who's an entrepreneur, says, which is this story serving me? Does it help me to believe that my boss is mean? Even if I think my boss is mean, even if I'm like, yes, he is, but does it help you to think that? No, it just makes you feel grumpy, victimized, disconnected from him. It makes you not want to go to work. If instead you just say, my boss is just grumpy and he's not mean to me, he's just having a bad day. Oh, now there's at least some empathy and understanding there. We've replaced the story with a more helpful one. So Byron Katie is great for like the concept of stories and limiting beliefs and not making yourself miserable by believing stories. That one.
You were grateful for your friend Saeed for teaching you that everyone is just trying to do their best.
Yeah, do you remember when we were sitting at the table and you told me that? That blew my mind.
And I think in the past, and maybe this is something that I've thought too, but like people should and can do better
Yeah, where you're like, you shouldn't be incompetent, you should be better at that. You shouldn't be mean, you need to be nice to me.
Yeah, or there's some people who just don't try, and
Yeah.
that if they just put in some more effort, they would do better. And he kind of at least he talked about the idea that the people that we judge and we think they're not doing much with themselves or that they're wasting their life, he posed the question of maybe that's all they can possibly give right now. Maybe that's all they have, and that they're just doing their best.
Yeah, that was life-changing. And then I read it in a book. I read it in Letting Go, this yellow book here, and I sent him a screenshot. I read it like a month after he said that. It says the exact same sentence. Maybe everybody's just trying to do the best that they can. And I screenshotted it and sent it to him. And I was like, bro, did you get that from this book? And he's like, no, I've never read that book. Like, it's just something I came to. So that was pretty cool that I saw that, from my friend, and then a month or so later read it in that book that was already a life-changing book for me. And as soon as I saw that in the book, I was like, okay, I need to read everything this author's ever written, because this is like big stuff. But yeah, that was a game changer. Realizing that everybody is trying their best. They're not trying to be incompetent. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to be lazy. They're not trying to be stupid. They're not trying to be any of that stuff. In fact, they're trying to be everything that you're trying to be. They're trying to be the best person that they can be. This is just where they're at right now. They don't have certain mindset tools that you have, or maybe they don't understand motivation, or they don't understand discipline. They don't have good habits. Maybe they didn't sleep that well. Whatever it is, they have reasons why they are the way they are right now, but they're trying to do their best. Nobody is intentionally trying to be incompetent or lazy or mean or a bitch. They're trying to do their best.
Yeah. And I guess the other one is that he also gave you or kind of spoke about holding space. He's a bit of a hippie.
He's a beautiful hippie. I love this man. He's such a fucking nice dude. He left me like 4 voice messages over like Christmas and shit. He's going like, dude, I was thinking of you and I had this epiphany. It's life-changing. Oh my God. Like, thank you so much. Like, he's given me so many epiphanies, and then he'll give me videos or audios where he's like, you gave me an epiphany. And I'm like, no, bitch, you gave me an epiphany. So yeah, he's such a great dude. He really is. But yeah, this concept of holding space, which I've definitely done with you a million times since he said that. Like, he's the definition of someone who's just like the patient, stoic. I think patient is the way I'd describe him. He's just infinite patience. And so whatever his girlfriend might be going through, he just sits there and he'll just like stop what he's doing. He'll just like turn towards her and look at her, and he'll just have his hands there and he'll just stop and he'll go like, I'm here. I'm listening. What's up? Let's go. Let's do this. I'm right here, baby. Let's go. And like, he'll just like listen, and she can just be like crying and being like, I just feel like you don't listen to me or whatever. And he's like, okay, I don't listen to you. Like, how? When's that happen? Like, tell me. I want to listen, baby. Fucking tell me. How can I be better? Let's fucking do this. I'm on a self-improvement journey. Part of that means I want people to tell me what I could be doing better, regardless of whether my ego thinks you're being unreasonable or don't criticize me. He's just like, no, I'm fucking here. Tell me. And so he calls that holding space, letting someone be an emotional mess, like being that rock. And yeah, I got that from him, and that's just taught me so much patience since then. Like, now when you're emotional, I'm just like, yeah, you're just emotional. That's okay. It's basically, he taught me that you don't have to be emotional just because your partner is, or you don't have to get annoyed at your partner being annoyed, or you don't have to like get sucked down into their emotion. Byron Katie has a really good quote where she says, it only takes one clear person to have a good relationship. Like, only one of you needs to be the rock. Only one of you needs to hold space. It can be either of you in any moment, but I just decided, all right, I want it to always be me then. And sometimes it'll be you, but it's like, what if it's just 100% of the time me? And then regardless of how you're feeling, I don't have to sit there and go, well, you need to be here for me. It's like, why don't I just fucking be here for myself? So, yeah, I got that from him. This one we already did, but sort of. But I think you can read it out because you used this coach of mine as well. He's not really my coach. Like, he's our coach. He's a dude. He's not ours. He's a dude. He's his own man, okay? We don't own him.
And he used to be my PT.
Your personal trainer, yeah.
Yeah, long time ago. But you are grateful for...
We can probably just say we.
We are grateful for our coach.
Keith. Yep.
And for giving us a lot of insights. Specifically, you've noted the mirror therapy, which we've already talked about. And just other tools and techniques to help be more peaceful. He's given book recommendations, and I mean, some of the things that he's passed on are the books that you've gotten so much from?
Letting Go, that yellow book, the one I just talked about, that comes from him. Loving What Is by Byron Katie. He didn't give me that book, but he gave me a book that recommended that book. So he may as well have given me that book. And I Need Your Love, Is That True? He may as well have given me that. But he directly gave me Letting Go and a couple of other books, which put me onto this, like this entire concept of the map of consciousness, all of the ideas about like, oh, we're just believing stories. We can just let go of our stories. Like every single huge epiphany that I've had this year has been directly because of him. Like 100% he gave me that. And so it's like all of my peace and happiness and the fact that I can sit here and be very like peaceful and like loving and all the stuff, like giving value and all the stuff I've done, I've taught all of my coaching clients comes from him. And the number of times I've done it a number of times where I will send him a voice message and just be like, bro, I fucking love you, man. Like, do you know how much you have given? Like, here's a screenshot from one of my coaching clients who said that, you know, something I did or said in the coaching changed their life. And I told this client, that's not from me, that's from, you know, my coach Keith. And I've sent him so many like little bits and pieces where I'm like, dude, like, look at this coaching client who changed their life because of something you told me. So it's like, you can see the butterfly effect, like the spider web kind of, the branches on a tree. Like, he gives you something and then you pass that on to like 20 more people who pass it on to 20 more people. Like, yeah, this guy's like changing lives. And why have I never had him on the podcast now that I think about that?
I don't know.
Let's make a note of that. I'm going to make a note of that. Now, that just clicked into my head. I was like, why have I never had him on my podcast? I will ask him if he wants to come on my podcast. I'm not sure if I think he will. He's very like humble. And like, I don't think he'd have anything to promote. I would try and promote like anything he wants, but I don't think he would.
Because keeping in mind what we are doing with Keith is not what he typically offers. I think
he doesn't offer. I was just like, bro, can I please throw some money at you when you sit down with me and talk? Yeah.
He's a personal trainer, I think.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he would like coach people. But even if he doesn't, like, yeah, I'd be curious if he would want to come on my podcast and just more than anything, so I could say thank you again for the 100th time, but talk about some of the deep concepts. I think he and I would have crazy conversations now. Like if we could go back and forwards on some of the spiritual stuff and like the self-help stuff and like love it. He was the person that taught me to love other people. He was the one that said, like, you know, during the lockdowns when I was very angry and I was, you know, on this emotional hierarchy, I was right down the bottom in fear, grief, anger, not guilt or shame or anything, but I was like really angry. He was the one who's like, yo, if you do that, like, you don't win. The only way you win is if you move up into love. I'm sorry, but you don't beat like government lockdowns and mandates and oppression with more anger. You beat it with love. It's the only way to rise above it, because it's something they don't have. And you'll rise above all this crap, and at least you'll be happy, and other people will see that you're loving, and then you'll have an effect on, maybe you even have an effect on the government. They go, wow, this, like Gandhi did, like people like that, Mother Teresa. Not that she was fighting the government, but so yeah, so I'll see if he wants to come on the podcast actually. And even if he doesn't, like, god damn, like, you guys just have to know, I wanted to shout him out, like, you guys have to know most of what I talk about comes from him. So it's like, if anything I've ever said has helped you in the last year, it's probably like because of him. You can read this one.
I am grateful for my coaches who have supported me this year. So Izzy, who is my online personal trainer, my eating coach Kylie, they've just helped me a lot with, and it is something that I'm constantly or have been working on this year, is my eating, my relationship with food, bulimia, and just having more love to give myself towards my body and making peace with that. And they've just been there for me in some of my darkest moments when I'm having a bit of a breakdown and I'm just overwhelmed and crying and kind of fed up with whatever it might be in each moment. And I'm incredibly grateful that they've been there and have always been able to support me when I needed it.
Yeah, they're both like very lovely people. Your eating coach Carly, I recommended her to a couple of my coaching clients, one of who signed up with her. So yeah, she's great. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I am grateful for Mother Teresa and her philosophy of love until it hurts, which you'll have to read some of her books to understand what that means. It might sound like a weird phrase, but essentially what she's talking about in her books and her entire life philosophy was like giving value. And so reading her book was just a nice, I read it really recently. I only read it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It was a really nice confirmation of a lot of the things that I found myself inside myself of like when I give to other people, that feels amazing. And then to read like this woman and everything she did, and her entire philosophy was like, just give, just fucking give, because it feels good. It's the only way to feel like the ultimate divinity and the ultimate, like, it's the highest level that you can ever feel, is to help other people. It really is. It's why most people, once they handle their own needs, they go, shit, I got to help other people, because it's just like, it's a calling. You can't not do it. And so it was really nice reading her book. And by the way, if you're at a point where you can't give a lot of value to people, like you really feel like you have a lot of your own needs that you need to meet those needs. Giving value could be something small, like you smile at one person today. You write one thing that you're grateful for to one person and you send it to them every week. Like, make it something really, really, really small. Mother Teresa talks about that in her book. She's like, even if you're freaking homeless and you have no money, you still have some value to give to some other human being, even just a smile or a hug or a handshake or something. So yeah, on that, we are grateful that my friends, because it was my friends who drilled it into me, really gave me the philosophy of giving value, and then I was able to pass that on to my audience, and then reading the Mother Teresa book confirmed that. So yeah, it was some friends of mine were sort of talking, and they really drilled that into me, and as soon as they said it, I was like, fuck, no, they're right. Like, that's, and it's something I think I was already doing.
And I think has been the essence of a lot of your coaching and what you've aimed to do.
Yeah. But they really drilled it into me and gave me a word for it, because I didn't have a word for it before. They were like, give value. And I was like, shit, that's what I've been doing. Oh my God, I was just trying to like help. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just trying to like help, I guess. But to have like an actual phrase like give value, or in Mother Teresa's case, as she says, you know, like love until it hurts. If that doesn't resonate with you, by the way, just say give value, whatever resonates with you. But yeah, I'm super grateful to my friends for like giving me that phrasing and really solidifying in my head of like, oh shit, you just want to give value to other people. Even if you're just dating or something, like you're not a coach or you're not a content creator, just making sure the other person has as good a time as you can. You can't guarantee they'll have a great time, but like just try and have chill vibes and be a positive human being as best you can. Like, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one is you. Oh my God, this was cool.
I'm grateful for my friend who was in a TV commercial and she needed like friends as part of the commercial, so she invited me along and I had a really lovely time, and I'm just grateful that she gave me that experience. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, there's not a lot more to it than that, but 41 also ties into that. So there was another girl who, in doing that, I reconnected with. We'd actually both moved interstate to the same rough area, city, and so we all happened to be there, and this was somebody that I hadn't talked to, and so after shooting this commercial with her, we kind of reconnected or reached out and are now friends, and I think that was like a really lovely opportunity, and I was grateful for the experience.
And the commercial was cool. I saw it. It was cool. It was like genuinely cool.
It was just a commercial.
It's like a TV commercial, but it's cool. You look like an actress. You're just like walking in, you're smiling, and like
friend
it was some food commercial thing.
Yeah, it's like a meal prep service.
Yeah. It was cool as shit. It was weird seeing my girlfriend. Not weird, but it was cool seeing my girlfriend like in a TV thing. It's like, oh wow, like famous. You know what I mean? And you can do that one.
Yeah, I'm also grateful for the opportunities that I got to spend and connect with my friends this year. And some of my favorite memories have been cooking for them, like hosting dinners and things like that. And just being able to be with people. They've been some of my favorite memories actually this year, spending it with my friends. I think because it's quite an intimate setting to be able to like share food and sit down and just kind of talk.
Provide.
Yeah, and talk for hours. And that was a lot of fun this year. And it's something I would like to do more of. And I like hosting. I like the way that feels. I feel like it's something my mother always has enjoyed doing, and I like doing the same and making a little bit of an event out of it. And something else that you also, and I'm very grateful for, gave me this year was a cake decorating class. So it was like a formal, like actual like baking not studio,
The
but
question is, do we have a picture of it? While you talk, I'll see if we can find a picture of it.
that was a lot of fun, and it was a very thoughtful gift because I'd baked my friend's 21st birthday cake and had a lot of fun, and I'd sent you pictures, and you were impressed by that, and so you purchased me like a cake decorating house, and I learned like a lot of new little techniques and skills. It was surprisingly easy, and it was a lot of fun, and it is something that I would like to do more of, simply because it's just something that I derive a lot of enjoyment from. And you have found the pictures of me and cake. It has like these little chocolate spheres. Don't get the one with me in it.
Yeah, let's get the one of you like in the actual in the
Place.
process. Yeah. Just getting them all on the screen now.
But it's got these like shiny chocolate spheres on top. It was meant to have more spheres and it's meant to go around the whole cake, but we ran out of time. It took all day, but it was a lot of fun.
Sick.
It's a cake. I made cake. It was
Wait, let me
big
make
too.
it
It was like quite large. It was a big old cake.
There we go. Look at that. It looks sick as hell. That's like so cool. It was really cool. I remember it tasted really good too. And there's you like decorating it.
Yeah.
So you're happy decorating it.
Cake. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks.
And I'm
it
grateful
looks
that you
really
got
cool.
that for me.
It was fun.
Mm.
Alright, back to this little goddamn thing. Let's make this a bit bigger. So you're grateful you did the cake. You are grateful to Kylie, who again is your like eating coach, and how much she has helped you. I feel like we already talked about that. Grateful that she gave you a discount for coaching. Yeah, she's so sweet. You were very stressed about money. There was a period where we didn't have a lot of money, and you felt like you were like, and I said to you, just do the course, and you're like, I can't, I'm stressed about money. And I was like, just do the course, it's fine. And she actually said to you, if you really are stressed about money, I will do it for you at my old price, like a cheap, it's like half price or something.
I think it was like half price, which was very generous of her.
Oh God, yeah.
I think I'm so grateful for her and how much she's helped me, and also that I'm at a point where I can accept that. Having the conversation around like evolving with our mindset around money, there's, and maybe even slightly is still a little bit of guilt around that, and something that I could work on so I can be truly grateful. But in the past, that's maybe something that I would have rejected because I felt bad about that, and it's like, oh, I can't receive that. So I'm incredibly grateful for her, as well as how I'm progressing with my attitudes towards money. Yeah,
you are a lot. I am grateful to all my friends for opening up to me, and you're grateful for the same thing. A lot of these we wrote them as if they're from my point of view. That's just how we wrote them, but they're like both of us. Yeah, our friends are super open-minded, and a big part of that is like screening for those kind of people. I did an article on my website, which you can go and search for if you want. Just go to killyourinaloser.com and search for how to make friends. And I did an entire article about like how to make friends that will have your back and be very open and support your goals and push. Yeah, it helps to screen for that. Your friends are amazing too. You followed basically what's in that article. You basically followed the template. The article has like a template and a structure of like how to find friends. You followed it like to the letter. So did I, obviously. And it works. Yeah, you got some great friends.
Yeah.
When we say her, we meant like the girl that we're dating right now. So grateful to her for coming on our podcast, which was a ton of fun, and for doing some fun like nude artsy little photo shoot with us.
Yeah,
like that was really fun.
Yeah, something we really enjoyed, and we really enjoy sharing that sort of side of ourselves, like the creative side. So
yeah. Speaking of which, you did a photo shoot that you're grateful for, but it was more like a bikini, like a lifestyle. You'd almost call it a lifestyle photo shoot.
Yeah, and my personal trainer offers that to all of her clients, and you kind of get like a hairstylist, you get makeup done, photographer, location,
very extravagant,
and then like outfit styling. It's like it's a full-on event day sort of thing, and it's just a really lovely opportunity to celebrate your body and wherever you are in your little fitness journey, and be self-indulgent and enjoy that, and practice liking yourself. And so I've been really grateful to have the opportunity to do something like that. Twice. I think either once this year and once last year, or maybe twice this year. Twice this year.
Twice, yeah. I am grateful for my Cam, for my friend Cam. My Cam,
Cam.
He's my Cam.
It's yours.
He's mine. My mate, my friend, my buddy Cam. on YouTube, he has a channel, Radical Improvements. He's a coach alongside me in my coaching program, and he's just a really great human being. He genuinely is. He's a really, really, really loving human being, and he's pushed me in a million ways to be a better person. He's a big part of the reason why we even have a forum. It's because he pushed with that, or he pushed me to set one up. He's pushed me to do so many different types of content. Like, he was like, hey, I think you should talk about going outside and hitting on women because you haven't talked about that at all. Hey, I think you should talk about business because you haven't talked about that. Hey, I think you should talk about this. Like, I'm forgetting some of the other stuff that he's pushed me on, but you know, he said, hey, you should do a 365-day project. He's the reason that I'm doing one right now. I'm doing a video every single day, or a video or a podcast or a short, like some piece of content every day. It was because of him. And on top of that, I didn't say that here, but like just supporting. When I went through a period where I said, all I want to do is just be okay. Not that I wasn't okay, but I was like, all I want to do is just be peaceful. I guess that's a better way of saying it. I just want to work on my peace and just, you know, some of the stuff that we've talked about here where I've been working really hard. It hasn't even been hard. I've been focusing this year on peace and love and joy and stuff like that. He asked me so many times during that period, he's like, hey man, how's the peace going? Hey man, are you feeling peaceful today? Like, he was just really like, he's like, hey dude, are you okay today? Like, it was really fucking nice.
And from the way that you talk about him to me, it sounds like he helps and supports and checks in with you so much, and
the people in the coaching program too.
Really just genuinely wants to see you grow and succeed and do the best with yourself that you possibly can. He
wants to see everyone grow and succeed. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, he really does. He's amazing, and he does so much on the forums. And on that note, I don't think I wrote it on here, but I can't believe I forgot this. I'm so grateful to Brandon on my forums, Fotis, God, who am I? I could list like 100 other people. Those two are the moderators along with Cam. So we'll start with them. I'm so grateful to them for keeping the forums running. I'm grateful in my Discord group to Steve, who does a hell of a lot to keep the Discord group in my coaching program. Like, he does a lot. I'm grateful to everyone on my forums who contributes. I'm not going to list all the names because I will just forget people, but you know, I'm grateful to everyone on there that shares. I'll definitely shout out Ravi. I'm definitely very grateful to Ravi. Ravi has this, like, absolutely, this is going to sound funny when I mention it. Ravi has more thanks than me on my forums.
Good for Ravi.
As if that is ever a measurement that needs to be cared about, but like for me to care about. But I randomly, I saw it because when you scroll down the bottom of my forums, it says like the people that have gotten the most thanks, which is basically just saying like, hey, your post helped me.
Yeah, like or an upvote.
Yeah, I used to be the first one, obviously, because it was my forums, but because I don't really go on there anymore.
Yeah, he's good.
And Ravi is just such a force for good on those forums. He absolutely is. So I feel like he needs to be shouted out. And then the rest of the list is like me, Cam, you know, the two moderators that I just mentioned, Brandon and Fotis, and then like some other big contributors like the Dom and some other people like that. But yeah, we're like Ravi's number one and by like a lot, like 50% more than me, because it's just like a couple thousand more than me, because it's like this guy just, if some guy's feeling down, Ravi will just write like a 20 paragraph like soliloquy to this motherfucker, and I love that word. It's the wrong word, but I love that word too much to not use it.
Contributed in that way.
Yeah, he'll just get in there and be like, all right, listen, son, like you and I are going to war against these problems. I'm right here, brother, but like you will not give up. Like all in capital. The whole thing is in capital. Like, yeah, I've shown you that. I've told you that he does that, like where he'll just be like, listen, brother, like I'm no man left behind. When I was, you know, in my depressed stage, like, you know, I felt like nobody cared about me. Well, son, I'm not going to let that happen to you. Like, we're warriors. We're going to fight against this. So like, here's what you do. Number one step, brother, listen, I need you to wake up tomorrow morning. I need you to meditate for 15 minutes and just think about how much you love being alive. Okay, number two, then I need you to do this. Son, we need to get you in having cold showers. You need cold showers. Then you need to get up at 4 a.m. and do some Wim Hof breathing. You need to look at the sunset and the sunrise. Fuck it, look at them both at the same time. If you can manage to make that happen, you need to do. And it's just like this long, like loving, like just complete force for good. And it reminds me a lot of the kind of stuff that I would write in the early days on the Good Looking Loser forums, where I'd see some guy struggling and I'd be like, listen up, son, like I'm gonna fucking kick your ass into gear. That's Ravi. Ravi's like very much like that, and I'm really glad that he started coaching and he's moving in that direction because he's really good at it. So yeah, shout outs to all those people. I already said this, but like grateful to Cam for being a great coach in my program. Ravi's in my coaching program as well, by the way. Like we coach him, but he also coaches like a lot of people. Like it's a very collaborative coaching program that everybody coaches each other. So shout outs to Cam, shout outs to screw it. Shout outs to everyone in my coaching program.
Yeah, it's certainly a community at this point with like the group coaching. It's not just you.
And the one-on-one coaching, because that's still
It's not just
coaching.
you, Andy, giving advice. It's all of the guys who are on this mission to just get the most out of their lives.
Be the best they can be the happiest they can be, have the most amazing life, help each other, help other people. Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
We already said that. Grateful to Cam for pushing me to start this 365-day project. Grateful for getting my moon tattoo. Are people going to be able to see that?
Probably not.
That's really hard to show something.
It is. It's like the forearm ones are a weird angle.
Let's make it big. There you go. Yeah, it's too hard to show like something on camera, but I got a tattoo. It's upside down, whatever, you can't see it, but...
And I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah.
Because it's like a relationship tattoo.
Yeah, you got a moon tattoo. You got to hold yours up. You got a moon tattoo.
Mine's a moon.
It's hard to show, isn't it, on camera? We both got a tattoo that has a moon in it, and that was... I've talked about this before. We did a video on why we have moon tattoos, and it was basically our equivalent of, like, getting married, so to speak.
Commitment.
May as well call it that. Yeah. It was a commitment. We've been together for, like, 5 years at this point. And it's sort of an inside... not joke, but it's an inside, like, sentimental thing. A moon is very sentimental to both of us. Short version is, I told you, hey, whatever you want in life, you're allowed to have. And I said, even if you want the moon, you can have the moon. And so that's why we got moons. So that's our equivalent of, like, commitment, yeah. I am very grateful to my friend Tim for the spiritual weekend that we had about a week and a half ago. And... yeah, that was life-changing, legitimately. I'm still integrating a lot of what we did. I've done a separate video about it, which will be coming out in the next couple of days, where I talk about, like, spirituality and stuff like that. But the short version of it was, like, me, you know, in this thing, it was me hitting some of those top levels. And I've been to the top levels before, but it was, and not enlightenment, but, like, hitting peace and just unbelievable peace and unbelievable joy, and just there were long periods of time where we were both just like laying there in complete silence. Like, you know, he was on one couch, I was on the other couch, you know, in the living room, because we both crashed together. What am I doing? And there were long periods of time where he and I were just like completely silent for like hours. It was like so unbelievably peaceful. And like we got to a point where we basically spent 5 days straight just working through our egos and trying to let go of every single egotistical thought that we have. It was like 5 days of like spiritual counseling or something. And someone asked me if we were on LSD. No, it was just, we weren't on anything. It was like, let's eat and drink and have as few distractions as we possibly can. Yeah. It was like very simple, and no distractions, no phones, no nothing. We didn't have music for half of it, and it was just like sitting there working through our egotistical thoughts and letting them go. Like everything, every bit of anger we had towards anyone, the government, all of that kind of stuff, just like working through it and saying, do we need to keep that? And I was like, no, it hurts when I keep hold of that. What about this one? Should we let go of that? Yeah, let's let go of that too. We just basically got to a point where we let go of everything, like everything. And so that was like life-changing, and it was for him too. Like, because I won't read it out exactly, but he went to a festival a couple of days after, which I showed you some text from, and he just said like, it feels like everything is different. And he walked up to some woman, and he just like some random woman there, and he just completely honestly just said like, you're beautiful. I'd love to see you again. Like, and there was some other woman that he just said like, you just have a divine presence. Like, I want to fucking get to know you. Can I get your number? Like, just more honest, which he's always wanted to be, but he's always been worried about, like, what if that sounds gay? What if it sounds gay to say you're beautiful? What if that's weird and creepy? It was just like, he's like, I don't care. I just want to say the truth to people from now on. So, yeah, I think I'll be integrating more over the next couple of weeks or months. And I might talk more about it, but that's definitely going to influence a lot of my content. But I think I've been moving more in that direction towards, like, giving value and being happy and joyful and shit anyways, so.
Yeah. I'm more grateful for all of the hikes that I've been on with my friends this year. It's probably equates to quite a few. I really like getting outside into nature because we live somewhere very beautiful.
Oh, we do, yeah.
And I constantly, every time I go on a hike, I'm constantly reminded of that and how gorgeous this place is, and that there's, you know, all of this like basically rainforests and waterfalls and incredible views, and I'm grateful for all of my friends that I got to share that with, and that I'm usually the one that wants to drag them along to hikes and things like that. So I think it's really lovely that I have the opportunity to do that and will continue to. I became an auntie about a month ago, and I'm incredibly grateful because a couple of years ago, put up some boundaries between me and some of my siblings.
Your older siblings, yeah.
And I kind of made like very forceful space because I just felt like I needed to set boundaries and figure out what I wanted to do without all of their input. And I severed that quite harshly at the time because it felt like that was what I needed to do. And so it was really nice that I've been reconnecting with all of them a lot more over the last year or so. And it was really nice that when, my brother was having a child, that I was still very much included and I was invited to the baby shower, even though I'm interstate, and that they've made an effort for me to be part of their daughter's life. Yeah. And so I'm super grateful for that.
They're very sweet. My sister did the same with me. I'm an uncle now as well, as of a couple of days ago. So that happened pretty quickly to both of us, hey?
Yeah.
You're an auntie, and then a couple of months later, I'm an uncle. So maybe I'll show some pictures at some point. I guess I'll ask permission from my family and your family. But they look like cute babies.
Yeah, the babies.
And our siblings and our parents, who are grandparents now, both look happy. So I guess that's enough. But yeah, you got to hold your baby. Or your
Not
baby. Your
my niece.
I get to hold my niece in May. Going over there for my birthday. You're coming as well.
Yeah, I'll hold your niece.
Yeah, so maybe I'll talk about that. But yeah, grateful for everyone who has listened to my Spotify podcast too. How come I shouted the Spotify podcast out but not the YouTube channel?
I'm assuming because we talked about growing YouTube subscribers.
Yeah, so I guess so, yeah. So I'm grateful for my Spotify podcast. It's different to YouTube because on YouTube you get like people will leave comments and stuff like that. But on Spotify, it just kind of happens, and like, I actually haven't checked for a while. Let's have a little look. Like, how many people listen or how many downloads? So it's like you get a decent amount of downloads, but like, you don't get like a comment. There's no comment system on like Spotify.
Yeah, it's kind of just this thing that happens.
Yeah. And so it's a completely different feeling. Like in YouTube, I feel like I'm making it for an audience. It feels more like I have to be engaged. With Spotify, it feels more like I just grab the microphone. Also, because there's no pressure of a camera, I just sit there, usually in the dark, like I have all the lights off, and I just put my feet up and I just chill and talk. And it's a much more like relaxed sort of environment. So if you haven't gone and checked it out, just go onto Spotify and search for Kill You're in a Loser. But like, there's lots of like cool ones that we've done. Like, What If I Never Make It? Finding Your Passion When You Have No Passions. Will a woman make me less productive if I get into a relationship with her? I am scared of success. I've been rejected by women in nightclubs. Game versus raw honesty. Why I say not to even, you can't see on the screen, can you? Why I say not to even worry about game. Just be honest with women. Like, yeah, what is my purpose? How to handle confrontations? How can I make a woman orgasm? I do like lots of different content. It's not on the spot on the YouTube channel. So if you're not checking that out, I think it's worth listening to. I enjoy the format. I really do. And I'm really grateful for everyone that listens. It's fun. You'll get an email sometimes from people saying, hey, I listen to the podcast only, but not the YouTube channel. And I like the Spotify podcast because it's the same sort of feeling, but you can definitely tell that I'm more chill, So I love the format. I don't think I'll ever combine them. I just love the format of being able to just speak my mind in a chill way, which we do on here as well. But something about not having the camera on is just really nice. I really like it. I love both. I love that. I'm grateful that there's so many different mediums. And like I said, I've just started being on Twitter as well, which is a completely different way of expressing yourself. It's nice. It's like an epiphany comes into your head. You just tweet that. Yeah. And like, I'm making sure it's all positive shit on there and it's valuable and stuff. But it's nice having like articles or Twitter or YouTube shorts or full YouTube videos or podcasts.
Yeah, there's so many different platforms and ways that you can share the things that are in your head.
Yeah, how beautiful is the internet that we get all these different options. It's amazing. And on that...
Yeah, somewhat similarly, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't taken it that seriously or done many videos, but I started this year and I've done a few more and added to that. And that's been nice to explore and push myself outside of that my comfort zone with that, because it's very different talking to the camera on your own than it is sitting here with you, because it feels like here, one, you generally tend to lead things, and two, it can be more of a conversation versus when it's just you speaking to the camera. So I've enjoyed that, and it's something maybe I'll pursue when I feel like it, but I'm certainly grateful that I have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. We can probably finish up and we'll do the rest in a third video. Yeah, I guess the final thing, while we're talking about content creation, I'll say I'm grateful to you for building up a TikTok. We have a little TikTok. That was more like an experimentation than anything.
Yeah, to see how it went. And
like we don't...
To be fair, it is just clipped YouTube videos.
Yeah, so
you're not getting
YouTube
any
videos.
new...
So it's been okay. Like, you know, like 5,000 followers. Like, some of the videos did crazy. Let's see if we can find that one that did, like, crazy good. We
but
had a few
just
that...
like any other bit of your content.
Community violation.
Oh, it's because there was about sex and I was
like,
pushing it.
This one here, 91,000. There was one that had, like, 300,000, right?
There's 45. But yes, there is one that had, like, 300 somewhere.
Yeah, 360,000. Look at that. 359,000 down, like, views or whatever. Downloads. I sound like
Views.
a boomer. Views. But yeah, it's just like you've clipped YouTube videos. And that was more like a marketing exercise. We actually found, if anyone's curious, that it didn't really do much.
So very few people will actually click to your profile. So I checked the what's the word I'm looking for? The statistics, that's not the word.
Yeah, basically no one
around
clicks
who
the
actually
analytics.
clicks the link tree.
Yeah.
And it's basically nobody.
Yeah, so
So maybe if you grew the audience more and had more of a loyal following and it wasn't just the people that came from the one video, sure.
Yeah. But TikTok definitely seems to be, at least for us, this is not a hard and fast rule. This is not marketing tips 101 or something. But for us, TikTok didn't really do much. It built a lot of followers and 360,000 views of a video, but no one clicked over to my YouTube channel from that. Like when we say no one, we mean basically no one.
Literally, I think one or two people, maybe it was less than 50 people clicked the link tree.
Yeah.
And it really didn't convert
So it's
anybody.
it's basically, it didn't do anything for us. YouTube Shorts seems to be different. So I'm making YouTube Shorts myself right now, and people are clicking over because they're already on your channel.
YouTube platform, yeah.
Yeah. So that's, But don't take that as marketing advice. That's just what has or hasn't worked for us. And I'm going to leave this one here as a spoiler for next time. You guys have to wait till the next video where I talk about this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Spoiler alert. So I'm such a cock tease, but we will do a third part of this. We'll probably record it in a couple of days from now, but it'll come out in sequence, so whatever. And hope you all have a lovely life and blah, 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 blah. And we recommend you guys do and girls do this exercise as well if you want to. It's worth going over what you either achieved for the year or some things you're grateful for, which is how we phrase it. And just kind of do a recap of the year, because it's a lot of the time we don't give ourselves credit or we're not grateful. We can become ungrateful and disconnected from the incredible abundance that we've been given. And we feel like, man, I'm not making progress, or my life sucks, or I'm never going to make it. And it's worth stopping at least once a year, if not more. I also do it once a week. We do it once a week. And just saying wow, I actually have a lot. Because every single one of us has a lot. You just might tell yourself a story that you don't. But if you look around the room you're in right now, you can come up with 100. I can say 500 objects in this room right now that I'm grateful for. So we all have a lot. Go out there, and if you would like to, have some fun crushing those goals. And if you don't want to, then you're a liar. That's not enlightened.
No.